If you're heterosexual, you are only dating men. And so if you have 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 bad experiences with men, it is very easy to say all men are XYZ. And similarly, if you're a straight man and you're only dating women and you have 3, 4, 5, 12 bad experiences with women, it's very easy to be like, all women are crazy. Now I interview everyone and I'm like, everyone is crazy. And, and there are a ton of gems on both sides.
Welcome back to Dating Intentionally. I'm Talia, I'm a dating coach, and I'm sharing no-nonsense advice for navigating modern dating with confidence and ease, whether you've been on dozens of dates or you're just getting started. I believe dating can be fun and delightfully chaotic, which are two words I would use to describe the live show Love Isn't Blind, which is produced by today's guest, Alli Goldberg. Okay, before we meet Alli, I just want to let you know there is a new solo episode available for you to listen to on Dating Intentionally on Patreon, all about the ick. If you haven't heard of the ick, you've probably experienced it. It's when you encounter something that's an instant turnoff in dating. On this new episode, exclusive to Patreon, I'm breaking down why we get the ick, if we're just being picky, and what to do when you feel it. I'm also sharing over 30 of your icks that you submitted on Instagram, and I hope they're as entertaining to listen to as they were fun to read. So you can get that episode and all future solo episodes from me on Dating Intentionally on Patreon. Join today in my bio link on Instagram, or just Google Dating Intentionally on Patreon and you will find. Alli Goldberg is a comedian based in LA who hosts a live show called Love Isn't Blind. And the show's format is like this. There's a bachelorette and there's 4 men, and they're all vetted by Alli before the show. And by the end of the show, the bachelorette eliminates 3 guys and goes on an immediate date with the one guy who is the winner. But there's a catch. The men on stage, who are the contestants, can't talk at all. So to get to know them, Alli takes us through 4 rounds of learning about them so the bachelorette can make her final decision. You'll hear from Alli about these different games and how the audience participates, and most importantly, how she makes getting eliminated one of the high points in the show. We also talk a lot about what she's learned about dating while running Love Isn't Blind, and she had some amazing insights. I can't wait for you to hear it. Also, I had the pleasure of going to the show myself here in the Bay Area after we recorded this interview, and the show was hilarious. I loved it. I share my thoughts on the experience after the interview, so stay tuned at the end for that. And I'm going to see Love Isn't Blind again on May 18th at the Foundry here in San Francisco, so maybe you'll join if you're around. You can get tickets at loveisn'tblind.co, or you can apply to be in the show if you're single and the dating apps aren't working because, hey, maybe dating on stage will. You never know. Okay, let's get to it. Welcome, Alli. I am so excited to chat with you today. How's it going?
It's a whirlwind, life is a whirlwind, but I am excited to talk to you, and thank you for having me.
Yes. Yeah. I have been following your account for a while, and I laugh so hard whenever any of your clips from Love Isn't Blind pop up in my feed. I'm like cackling.
Thank you. I've been following you for a while, and I don't laugh at your things, but I do enjoy them and appreciate them.
We need both in this world. Okay, so I have a hinge prompt for you. Okay. And I know how you feel about dating apps.
PTSD. Okay, yeah.
You know it. Okay, so this prompt is, I'll brag about you to my friends if...
You decorate.
Wait, can you explain what decorating is?
Decorating is a thing that I'm trying to make happen. I just feel like if you're gonna send me a dick pic, dress it up. Like if you made it into a little dictator, if you just like, fuck it, if you put a scarf on it, wow. I mean, listen, don't lead with that, but if you did that, wow, I would brag to my friends. I'd be like, I met my prince. He's an absolute weirdo. He bought tiny costumes and he decorated for me.
Wow.
Yeah. But I can't put that on Hinge because you can't put sexual stuff on Hinge. That's not a good...
It wouldn't work. No, but I'm glad that I'm helping you make decorating a thing. I fully support you in this mission.
Thank you so much.
With, obviously... with if there's consent around naughty photos. But
Yeah,
yes.
I need to be okay. I need to have consented to the dick pic, but if you send it to me, may it be decorated. Yeah, I have no filter. Like, just so the listeners know, I didn't know what she was going to ask me, and that's what came
And
out.
I knew what decorating was because I watched your videos, but I did not know that was going to be the
Oh, yeah, I have
brag.
stand up about decorating. I love it. I just think it's a great concept. And I just feel like men need to step up their game. Like, what's with the dick pics and
Yeah,
they're not decorating?
it's 2024, guys. Come
2024. You think I haven't seen a dick well, I've seen a dick, okay?
on.
I have not seen a decorated dick, except for when I've Googled decoration or decorated dicks. Like,
That's so funny. I haven't had the pleasure of Googling that yet.
you're welcome.
So, okay. So you created this live show, Love Isn't Blind, and the rules are that men can't speak because,
Sometimes men should be seen but not heard.
right. And they're competing for one woman. So, how did you come up with this idea? Where was this born?
Honestly, my single gal pals and I sit around and sometimes we bitch about dating apps and dates and men, and there is an epidemic of men just talking about themselves. They just talk about themselves on dates. They don't ask any questions. And I thought, what if they stop talking? But I do have to give a few caveats here, which is that actually running this show has made me more optimistic about dating, not less. I thought it was going to make me more jaded. It's made me far less jaded. I'm also really learning about all the things women are doing wrong as well.
We're going to get into that.
Yeah, and actually men complain too that women talk about themselves and don't ask questions. And the other caveat, I suppose, is that the men who agree to do this show are good men who are in for the feminist joke. But that was the impetus, was like, maybe men need to shut the fuck up just a little bit sometimes,
Yes, I honestly, I mean, I wasn't expecting you to say that. I like maybe there was like the Love Is Blind show, something in there.
Oh.
But I love that this was the reason why. And yeah, you know what? I have also heard that this complaint about men and women and people not asking questions. And my theory is that the people who are not asking questions are not following accounts like mine or going to shows like yours.
Well, what's funny is I silence them so they really can't ask questions, but
Right.
but I enjoy putting the women in the driver's seat. And again, the men who do it overwhelmingly tend to be good men who are down for this gimmick, And
Yes.
sort of a funny blessing of the show is how many of the contestants have become my friends.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I make them all go
awesome.
rock climbing with me. It's a thing, yeah.
It's like just you and a gaggle of guys.
And the women too, the bachelorettes. Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
can't talk when you're rock climbing. Is that also?
Oh no, they shut the fuck up. It's a mime situation.
Yeah.
No, they can talk after that. But yeah, they've been great, and it also warms my heart how many of them do the show and then come back to future ones to watch in the audience.
Right.
They recommend guys to do the show. So
Well, I guess if they don't win the
great.
one woman, they're still single and they can meet someone at your show.
Yes, everyone gets a wristband based on their relationship status.
We're going to get into that too. But first, just because I know listeners might not be familiar. So during the show, you're hosting, you're on stage. You have 4 guys sitting with you who can't
Yeah.
talk. They have the ability to thumbs up, thumbs down. They have like a paddle if they
Yeah.
want the woman to answer the same question. So you do yes or no questions. I feel like is that like your warm up?
Yeah, it's funny because the yes or no round is arguably like pretty straightforward. It's
Yeah.
not, but because like I also call their moms live on stage, but
Right.
like
You have them draw stuff. Like there's so many different gimmicks.
yeah, but the yes no round is actually, it might be my favorite. Like we get to know a lot about them. It gets really rowdy. It's a wild time, and I ask a few questions, and then when you enter as an audience member, you can put questions in a hat. So I take a few from the audience. So you can see in the clips when I'm reading from a little note card. Well,
Yeah.
I guess it's a little confusing because sometimes it's my own note card, but I'm also
Right.
picking them up out of the hat. And then for the first time ever this coming Saturday night, what I've done is I wrote on social media, if you want to submit a question, I
Love
will
it.
screenshot this, with your handle and share that like the internet wants to know X. So I have a few questions this Saturday night that are from the internet. And then the Bachelorette gets to ask a few questions as well. But I keep it like really fast paced.
I mean, yes, this is very inspiring. I mean, honestly, what I love about when I was watching these videos, and I am going to go to your show in Berkeley in a couple of weeks, and
I know, I'm
so
excited.
But I was making me think like, wow, I wish I could just pick up my date's phone and call his mom during the date. That would have saved me a lot of time, I think.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
or it would have made me be more turned on to someone who I wasn't initially that into.
100%.
this might be just my wacky mind, but like I feel like incorporating more play into our dates, like pulling inspiration from Love Isn't Blind, could be, I guess it could be good or it could be a total disaster. What do you think?
Well, I agree with the idea of incorporating more play. I stopped a long time ago going to a bar. I'm not interested. Like, first of all, I don't drink anymore. So there's that. I have severe insomnia, so I stopped drinking alcohol completely. Drugs are great. I'm California sober. But anyway, enough about me. So I mean, unless you're a sommelier, I don't know, if you're like really into wines and liquors and whatever, but like otherwise, in my opinion, if you've been to 12 bars, you've been to all of them, right? Like if at this point in my life, even outside of dating, I'm not going to a bar unless it's like an insane speakeasy and there's like a whole experience. You know what I mean? So like, I think there should be more play. I go to museum exhibits for dates. I go on hikes. I take them rock climbing. I do think we should be doing more activities because also the sad fact is, although I don't think it's sad, is like we've all been on pretty mediocre or bad dates. But if I go on a bad date, but I'm also seeing an exhibit that I wanted to see anyway, then like, cool, I got to see that exhibit.
Yes, I agree. Once you've been to a couple bars, you've been to them all. For me, I guess when I was dating in Seattle, I was new to the city, so there were certain bars I was excited to check out. But I would like be like, let's go here because I just like haven't been there and I want to go.
Yeah.
And I always had a good time, even if they sucked. Yeah. So I haven't been yet, so I'm just curious, what happens at the end of the show? So like basically is the Bachelor kind of kicking off guys as the show goes on, or is there like at the end she chooses one out of the four?
Yeah. So a man is eliminated after rounds 2, 4, and 5. But something that is really important to me and that was really fun when I was devising the show is how do I keep it joyful and silly the whole time? Because it's actually not a roast show. I want all the men to have an amazing time. I want everyone to look great. I want them to score dates. So in the elimination, that was a part I really thought carefully about because I was like, that's a part that could get awkward or sad. Also, because these boys are not performers. They're real boys. They're real boys. He's a real boy, you know. No, but they, they like work at Google. They like have jobs, you know what I mean? They're not used to being on stage. So what I do is I just keep it really fun. Like I tell the audience we're about to eliminate a man. I don't want to hear any, aw. No, when a man is eliminated, we go absolutely wild for him. Also, I have a prize for him. And this is good news. Now you can fuck him. So I just try to keep it really fun. Something that started happening at a lot of my LA shows is people will start chanting. So if someone gets eliminated, they're like, Dave, 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 Dave. And they just go absolutely wild for the guy.
That's sweet.
Because my goal is for him to still feel fucking great, even if he gets eliminated. And then, frankly, he's released into a crowd of singles. Some of my guys have told me that the best thing is to be the runner-up because you do all the shenanigans and then you're released into the crowd,
Strategy. I like it.
The Bachelorette, sabotage yourself. No, the Bachelorette and the winning man, at the end of the show, they go on an immediate date. I give them 2 free drinks at the bar, and I sort of joke that we can watch them.
Do they go off by themselves, or are they like surrounded by people watching the show who wanted to talk to them? So I feel like that could be hard.
Little column A, little column B. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'll see them like go off. It's fun when you see them really hitting it off, and you'll see them kind of go into the corner and be just kind of talking intensely. But yeah, everybody's there and also going up to them. And it's I'm biased, but it's a great time. I'm really proud of the nights where like most of the audience stays after the show for hours. It also depends on the venue and if we're allowed to stay. But the one you're going to see, the idea is that everyone will be staying as late as they want.
I have questions about like the kind of just the mixer vibe in a bit, but I mean, you're calling them gimmicks. I was going to say games, questions. What's your favorite one that you do that just like always hits?
Man, it's funny because they are truly all my favorite. Like I'm always like, "Ooh, that one's my favorite," and then I'm like, "Actually, that one's my favorite." But I love them all. Like,
which is your favorite to watch play out?
Man, it's a good question, but they really are fun. Like the yes no round is one. I think one of my favorite moments of the show is so the men are during the yes no round. The men are blindfolded, so they can't see how the other men are answering, and they're also given a spanking paddle. And if they want the Bachelorette to also answer the question, as you mentioned, they raise their paddle. But she only has to answer if all 4 paddles are raised. And again, because I have real boys, there's always someone who forgets that he's holding a paddle and the audience loses their shit. The audience is like, raise your paddle. And then there's this moment where all 4 paddles are raised and the room erupts. And now I'm in bigger and bigger theaters, which obviously is fun for me. But something I do miss is I used to be in this black box theater. And that first moment when all 4 paddles were raised, you could like feel the room shake with everybody's screams. And that was so fun. But they're all great. I mean, calling them moms is so fun. I had a mom try to like set me up with her son live on stage. I was like, this is not what's happening. It
That's so
was
funny.
crazy. I've had moms throw their sons under the bus. It's been fascinating. And then a lot of moms one mom literally said, my son is God's gift to earth. And I was like, all right, lady.
Okay.
And searching their phones. Searching their phones is interesting because that one, it can be a little hit or miss. I truly don't know what's going to happen. But when
Mhm.
it hits so hard.
That's great. I mean, yeah, when you look at their Amazon purchases or like what else are you looking at?
Oh, like there's one time I looked at a guy's Amazon history and like he had purchased a bunch of Magnum condoms the other day. You know what I mean? It was just like, thought went wild. I've done browser history. I've done YouTube history. One caveat I should give for your listeners, especially if any guys out there maybe want to apply, is that consent matters. Like if there's anything that the guys like truly feel uncomfortable with, I'm not going to do it. So
Right.
a lot of guys are like, do whatever you want. And from watching clips or seeing the show previously, they know they can trust me. But some guys are like, my texts are off limits. Okay, fine. I don't touch it. But
Right. And like they know you want them to look good. Like you're taking care of them. It's like you said, it's not a roast show. Right.
yeah, I'm looking to get a laugh and get out. Even with the guy with the Magnum condoms, I kind of leaned over and I said, can I say this? And he nodded. And I was like, he just bought Magnum condoms.
Right. Okay. So even during the show, you're still, checking. I love that.
I mean, there are things that have popped up. I remember one guy in particular, I searched his browser history and like bi-curious and all that kind of stuff. A bunch of random stuff popped up. And then I remembered, oh, he's a therapist. These might not even be for him.
Oh.
So I like made a joke about HIPAA and moved on and searched something else. But like I'm not looking to blow up anyone's life. I'm looking for everyone to have a great time. But yeah, YouTube. I haven't done Reddit comments yet, which I think I'm going to do this week. I'm going to try this weekend.
Oh my gosh.
For the first time ever, 2 weekends ago, I actually finally screen mirrored his phone because I was in a venue with like TVs and was able to search his photos. And it turned out he literally has an album called Pickup Lines where he makes custom memes when he's chatting up girls. And it was fucking incredible.
That's amazing.
Like literally, I black out on stage. I don't know what I say, but my filmmaker editor, Connor Linneruth, catches it. And apparently I turned to him and I go, this is the best thing to ever happen to me. Because like the fact that he had that was so fucking fun, and that he consented to letting me screen mirror, right? Because again, like if a guy says no, I don't want you to screen mirror, that's fine because I am doing some screening live, but some guys are like, do whatever you want, I don't care. I had one guy really early on say, if you have to sabotage me for the joke, sabotage me.
Oh wow, he's like, cut my throat.
I think some men, it's like their fucking kink, they want to be humiliated on stage, but I told him, I was like, I'm not going to sabotage you, but I love that you said that and we're going to be good friends, and we are friends now.
That's great. Well, I would love to hear more about the selection process. You are screening these guys before they go on stage.
Yeah.
Like, what is the criteria? Who do you accept and reject and why?
Yeah. Great question. And I actually, right before talking to you, I was talking to a casting director because it's reached a tipping point where I'm like, I can't handle all of this. But I am looking for good people, men and women. I've also started doing queer shows, which we can talk about in a bit. But the crux of it is making straight men shut the fuck up. But I'm looking for good people with real jobs, and especially in LA, I joke a lot about just like finding 4 men with jobs. But I'm looking for people who really want something, who are tired of swiping, who are up for shenanigans. My favorite. On the male side, my favorite men are the ones who like work in tech. They like have a real job, but they've taken improv on the side for fun. But I
can
also
see that.
when I ask men what are you looking for, who do you try to date, there's a lot of things they do that are really telling. Like there are ones that lead with the physical or lead with really shallow physical things. I had one guy tell me, I like really skinny girls, like not emaciated but really skinny. Like he went on for a while and I was like, what about their personality? And I was like, I will never use this man, you know what I mean? But it's really telling. There's some men who are like, I'm really open. I don't have a type in particular, but I want someone who is ambitious and supportive of my dreams too, and open-minded and wants to grow together. There are men and women that have really beautiful answers.
Right. And they do exist. I want everyone to know, like, these people do exist.
They exist, and those are the men that I'm using in this show, is the men with beautiful answers.
Do you feel like this is in any way connected to your dating selection process for yourself?
I mean, it's tough. My own bias is definitely present in the show. Like, I joke, I'm like, am I just choosing people I want to be friends with? But like, I am, you know what I mean? But I've definitely, like, I have success stories already. I have a couple who dated for 6 months. I count that as a success, even though they just broke up. But
That is definitely a success.
yeah.
And I saw there were people who met at your show who got engaged.
Yes, people are meeting in the audience, and there's a couple who got engaged, and I begged them. I was like, please let me come over to your house and take a video. Yeah, which I did, and they were like, we hate being on camera, but we want to help you out. And I was like, look, I'm going to make this as easy as possible. If it sounds like you saw the video, but I was like,
Yeah.
what if I pitched them? I was like, what if I just, because I was like, look, I was like, if the answer is no, that's fine. I get it. I was like, but I could make this as easy as possible for you, where I literally just show up and I'm like, where did you meet? Are you engaged? And that's the video. That's the whole thing.
So, that was the video.
Yeah, that was the video. We did it in one take. I took 30 seconds of their time, and then we hung out. They're lovely. But yeah, they met at the show. They were both wearing green wristbands. So,
well, okay, I had one more question before we move on to the wristband thing. How do you select the bachelorette?
So I'm really interested in showcasing badass women of all different types. So I had a woman who was, wow, she was so gorgeous, but that's not even why I chose her. She's an OBGYN. She's smart. She's badass. She had funny stories about being an OBGYN. She was wonderful. And she happened to be, I'm like, this girl could model. What is happening? And she's an OBGYN. I've had a red carpet interviewer who interviews celebrities. I do not want influencers or people who are just in it for the likes. The woman who's a red carpet interviewer also happens to be gorgeous, but so kind, so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out I think she went to Northwestern. She told me, she's like, this is my dream job. Like, I've always loved celebrity news, and this is what I'm doing. So, but then I've had entrepreneurs. I've had people who just like work in marketing, but I've had just different types of badass women. This coming Saturday, I have a woman who just directed her first episode of television, and she's 31. So it's like very, very cool. And she was just sassy and fun. She's also really smart. I like smart, accomplished women. I had a bassoonist for like my second show. And when we were getting to know her, I had her play the bassoon for all of us.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm so excited to see it. So after the show's over, the room turns into like a mixer. People get these wristbands, which you mentioned. There are 5 colors.
Yeah, the colors are expanding lately, and I'm totally here for it. Like, if it gets to a point where it's like all the way up to your elbow, and it's like, if you know, I'm fine with that.
What are the wristbands?
I started with red, yellow, green. So green single, red taken, yellow. I tell the door people if they hesitate, situationship, you see them, be like, I don't know, give them yellow. Poly people started requesting their own wristband because of course they did. So now we have poly purple. And then I got, I had a growing number of LGBT audience members, even at the straight shows.
Right.
And they said, it's a little annoying / unfair. They have a green wristband, but then like one gay guy in particular, he's a friend of mine and he's wonderful and gorgeous, but he was like, women are hitting on me at your shows and it's awkward. He's like, I'm trying to gay it up. But so I got pride wristbands so you can double up. But then I realized I had other audience feedback, and I really try to take audience feedback. People saying, okay, well, I doubled up, but now people think I only like women and actually I'm bi.
Oh.
I just ordered bisexual blue.
Love it. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
If it just becomes an insider thing, that's cool. Yeah, because like if you're a woman and you add the pride wristband, now everyone thinks you're a lesbian, right?
Right.
She's like, but I still date men. So
yeah,
right. And I did a little poll on my Instagram story. I'm like, do you want bisexual blue? And enough people were like, yes. So
yeah, I can see that. So does this work? Like, are people, I mean, obviously we know there was one example of an engagement, but are people meeting each other and dating from this mixer section of the
100%,
night?
100%. In particular, like there's one other couple that comes to the top of my mind that met at the show, dated for 6 months, which again, I do think is a success. A lot of people are meeting and getting dates.
That's
but
awesome.
Something I want to work on. But to be honest, I think I need to get more like sort of partners involved, because it's just, I'm a team of one right now. And then I have my editor who freelances for me, but like I'm pretty overwhelmed. But I do want to, like my last show, everyone stayed till like midnight, but people said we'd love more icebreakers. So I want to start doing things like, I think a human scavenger hunt could be cool. Like, you have a list of like, find someone who speaks 3 languages, find someone who's a puppeteer, and then
I've done one of those at a conference. Yeah, it's fun.
It's easy. You're forced to go up to people and be like, do you like puppets? You know what I mean? And so, but it also means that I have to go create this, print 200 of them, and then put them on everyone's seat maybe. So there's some more things I'm working out. I definitely want to do more of that. But yeah, people are sticking around and they are meeting. I know tons of dates are coming out of it. Like all the time people are like, People are DMing me like, I got 3 dates from your show. And I'm like, great, get it, girl, you know?
I love hearing this. I'm so glad that people are getting out to an event and meeting in person. And I guess it's just like, obviously this is a success. And I keep hearing from my friends in New York who are going to speed dating and mixers, and they're just totally awful because they're not well organized.
Oh yeah.
And it's not the
They
people.
tend to
It's
be
like,
cringe.
so
Yeah.
it's like, if daters are being told that they want to go, or they're told to go meet people in real life, or they want to get off the apps, what kind of events should we be seeking out where there's going to be that energy other than your show, obviously?
Yeah, I know. It's tough. I mean, of course I'm biased, but I do think my show is a good example because yeah, speed dating events, I went to one and I was like, oh my God. Like it was just so cringe. And there were some boys there that were so awkward and very
Right.
sweet, but it was like even with the prompts, they had like a lot of trouble having a conversation. But I don't know. I mean, I'm also single, right? So I don't want to pretend to have the answers, but I definitely do think for your own sanity and mental health, get out there and just do stuff you want to do. Like,
Yeah.
I'm at the rock climbing gym 2 to 3 times a week. Have I met my lover? No. But
Have
could
you
I?
dated
Yeah,
anyone from the gym?
kind of.
I used to meet guys at the rock climbing gym all the time. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Bouldering gym's so easy.
Oh, sweet. I think because I top rope, it's harder. I'm like
Oh,
clearly
right. Yeah.
this
Top rope.
way
Yeah. No.
fed.
Bouldering.
Yeah.
It's like the easiest way was just like asking a guy to like show you a route.
Which they love
Immediate.
to do.
They loved it. Yeah. They're like, yeah. And then you just talk to them.
But yeah, I mean, dinner parties, house parties, pottery class, museums, just like get out there because the thing is, it's so cliche, but you need to be enjoying your life for you. Like, I also, just on a very personal note, when I meet people who are only going to things because they might meet someone, I'm like, we're not going to be friends. Like, that's not what I'm here for. You know, like, you
Right.
need to be like, and I've met people, I hate to stereotype, but especially women who are like, oh, do you want to go to this thing? I heard there might be a lot of single guys there. And I'm like, no, I'm not. If it's something I wanted to go to anyway, but like, I'm not just like going to a bar or going to this event because there might be single guys there. Like,
Do you
do
think
the
there's
things you
something in
want
that
to do.
mindset that doesn't work? Like when you are going out with the intention of meeting someone of your desired gender, like that it's like it's not going to happen because it's like
I mean,
I
I
don't
think
know.
it could, but I think you're setting yourself up for disappointment as
Right.
opposed to being like, there's this activity that I can't wait to do. And maybe I'll meet someone there. But if I don't, I also can't wait to go do that thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I just feel like there's too many people where their first priority is, I've even had, this is like, I had someone once say to me, oh, I don't want to go to that. I don't think I don't think I'll meet someone there. And I'm like, what? That's fucking crazy to me. Like,
That makes me sad.
yeah, I mean, I have a whole rant where I think like women are taught from birth, like if you don't lock down a man, that you have failed. It's like very tied up in women's self-worth. And what I
Mhm.
really want to see women do is divorce their self-worth from whether or not they have a partner. So go out
Absolutely.
there and do the things you want to do. If you meet someone, fantastic. I want you to meet someone. I want to meet someone, but like I'm so done orchestrating my life around the potential of meeting someone. Like it's just when you think about it, like it's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
The other thing is like there's so many things in life we can control. I can rent a theater. I can do my marketing. I mean, that's a little out of my control too. Who's going to buy? But like, you know what I mean? But like, I can go rock climbing. I can scale this wall. I can climb this mountain. Like there's so many things we can do and control in a positive way and bring ourselves joy. Unfortunately, I think dating is a ton of luck. And I hate to see, especially women, but also men. Honestly, as I've been doing this show, I'm realizing how much it's across genders too.
Mhm.
Like there's this one guy that I sometimes climb with and he just won't talk about anything other than dating and I'm over it. Like I just don't even want to climb with him anymore. Like I'm just like, are there other I'm so happy. I mean, of course here we're talking about dating for an hour, but it's the topic of the podcast.
Yeah.
But in my real life, I'm happy to talk about dating or whomever you're dating for like 20 minutes. And then I want to talk about 3,000 other things. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you were telling me offline that you were obsessed with dating and then a switch flipped, right? What was that moment when you were like, okay, I am so done being obsessed with this?
I very much fell prey to the exact scenario that I described, where as women, we're told we have to meet someone or we have failed in some way. And I was so sad that I hadn't met someone. And, you know, I went to all my friends' weddings and blah, blah, blah. and I was so sad about it. But like, I don't know what exactly the impetus was. I think, to be honest, I had enough shitty situationships that suddenly it clicked where I was like, I have never in my life regretted hanging out with friends, rock
Mm.
climbing, going to see a show. I have never regretted that. And those are all my fondest memories. 100%, not 100%, but like 90% of my like shitty nights that I look back on are because of someone who didn't treat me well in a dating scenario. And so I'm just like, why am I sad about this? And why am I trying so hard when I actually can be so happy doing my own thing? Like, I am very lucky in that my general happiness meter is like pretty high, right? So the way I describe it to friends is like, on my own, no man, doing my own thing. I'm between an 8 and a 10 on a scale from 1 to 10, right? In my happiness. Meet a dude, I'm a 2 and a 12, a 2 and a 12, a 2 and a 12. And like, I don't.
There's no in between. It's
Why
2 or
would
12.
I do that? Like, it just
Right.
all of a sudden, it just snapped where I was like, this is crazy. Like, if
Mhm.
a man comes along who wants to treat me well, fabulous. But I'm so not here for this roller coaster anymore. And of course, we could get into like, okay, am I choosing avoidant men? Like, what's my attachment style? Blah, 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 blah. And like, I've read all the books and done all the things.
You know, there's a part of it that's your part, but also I get you. I understand. Like when it comes to your energy, which is limited, why would you be putting it into something that overall just stresses you out?
Hasn't been a win. And yeah, and again, I have my partner too for sure. I don't want to blame the men entirely, but I think a lot of dating is luck, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
I haven't met that person and I'm moving on in a really positive way though. Like, I'm having a fucking great time. Sometimes people will call out in the middle of a show, "Are you single?" And I'm like, "I am the puppeteer, sir."
Yeah.
Like, I am the puppet master. Are you kidding?
Right.
Are you kidding? I'm having a fucking, I am above you all. Like, I'm having a
Amazing.
great time. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll be like, "See me after the show," but they don't. I
Right.
think they're scared of me after they see me on stage.
I mean, yeah. No, you're not scary. So I want to ask you, what are some trends that you're noticing in dating right now? Like, you mentioned earlier that you've seen certain things that women are doing wrong. What is that? What's going on?
Ladies, first of all, you have got to stop. I was going to say we, but I'm over it. This obsession with height is out of control. It's out of control, especially among, the show mostly. Well, I'll do any demographic. Like, I would love to have a 70-year-old bachelorette, but most of the people who apply are over 30. You're telling me you're looking for something serious, and yet the number of women I interview where I say, "Okay, what are you looking for in a guy?" And the first thing they say is, "Well, he needs to be tall." And I'm like, why? Like, literally, why? Like, yes, you have to be attracted to the person for sure. If you're not attracted, you're just fucking friends. And you're not fucking. But why? Why? Especially if you're looking for a long-term partner. Does his height affect how supportive he is? Does it affect his passion? Does it affect his humor? Does it affect anything that is needed in a long-term mate? Because let me tell you, I've got step stools. I'm good. Like, you don't need this. So many women who tell me that, then I say, I'll be like, "Okay, how tall?" And they'll be like 5'10", or they'll be like 6 feet. And I'm like, "How tall are you?" And they're like 5'3". And I'm like, "You don't what do you do?
No.
Are you a drag queen? Are you wearing 6-inch heels? Like, this makes no
It makes no
sense
sense.
to me."
I agree. I
I
fully
understand
agree.
you have to be attracted to the person, but like, honestly, are you really not attracted to that adorable, smart, accomplished 5'7" man? Like, I just, especially if you're
Right.
5'3", like, he's still taller than you are.
Also, let's be real. Just because you're tall, like that doesn't automatically make you a catch. You could be a horrible person.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you could be, or you could be have like no personality or no relational skills. Like height
But like,
doesn't
women
do
will
anything.
argue with me. Oh, I'll say this. I say everything I'm thinking, and they'll be like, "Well, you don't understand. Like, I want to feel like a lady. I want to feel small." And I'm like, "Okay, if you're 5'3", you can do that with a 5'6" man."
It's true. I mean, yeah, I'm 5'3", and everyone when I first started dating, I found the same thing, and I was like, "Wait, you guys are just only picking the 6 foot and up guys?" And I'm like, "I
Yeah,
will take your 5'8" tech bros. Like I will, yeah. Like I was like, I love
gladly.
that. That's my jam.
Bring me your short kings. I don't ask the men their height when I interview them because I don't think it should really matter. So, and I meet these men by Zoom. I have like an intake process, and then
Mhm.
I don't meet them till I show up at the venue. And I've had men show up and they're 6'4", and I've had men show up and they're 5'4".
Mhm. Mhm.
But that's definitely one thing for sure where I'm like, ladies, you have got to stop. Also, the fact of the matter is, if you're over 30 and you're looking for something serious, what percentage of the population is over 6 feet or is over 5'10"?
So small and has a good job and educated and all these other things that you want. Right. And
Yes.
then
I
you
mean,
throw height in there too. Like, no.
to me, it's the most obvious thing to flex on because I'm not flexing on you treating me well. I'm not flexing on you being intelligent. I'm not flexing on you being funny and passionate and up for adventures. I'm not flexing on those. So be short. I don't care.
Right. Right.
I'm also just like, what's his dick like? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, obviously. That's really important. Way more
you know,
important.
you know, he could be a short king with a big dick. Now, actually,
Yeah.
I also think like, bring me a nice Goldilocks dick. Only his obsession with dicks is also
Oh,
crazy.
yeah. A nice a schmedium. Absolutely.
Yes. But I mean, to be honest, I also hear racist stuff, which I'm like super
Mm-hmm.
over.
Mm-hmm.
Or like sort of subtly coded racist stuff. Like this one woman was like, I really love blue eyes. And I was like, first of all, you think I give a fuck about what color eyes they have? You think in my process of finding men, which is I'm looking for good men with jobs who also look good, who will do this show, who
Who
will go
want a
on stage and who will
relationship or like want a date. Yeah.
yes, you think this guy seems fantastic, but his eyes are brown and my bachelorette wanted blue. Like, that's insane to me that you would even say that. And only certain races have blue eyes. So it's funny because I'm sounding very negative, but interviewing men and women about their dating lives has made me less jaded. Like, I was more jaded when I started, and I was worried by starting a dating show I would be more jaded.
What have you learned that makes you believe?
I think it's because my guy friends would complain about the things women do, but now I experience them firsthand. And so, in this backwards way, it really levels the playing field for me. Like, something I realized, which is so obvious now, but like, if you're heterosexual, you are only dating men. And so, if you have 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 bad experiences with men, it is very easy to say all men are XYZ. And similarly, if you're a straight man and you're only dating women and you have 3, 4, 5, 12 bad experiences with women, it's very easy to be like, all women are crazy. Now I interview everyone and I'm like, everyone is crazy. And and there are a ton of gems on both sides. So actually, even though I'm sounding negative, the negativity, the experiencing of the bullshit women do has actually made me so much more positive about men because I'm able to just see everyone as a human and be like, we're all dealing with
Yes.
this. But there is that sweet spot of wonderful people. Also just, because also I'm single interviewing these men, but a lot of them, like, they're not for me for a lot of reasons. And also I do not put out there that I'm single. Like, again, I'm creating the show. That's not why I'm doing it. But my point is that even though I'm not on a date with them or they're not interested in me, it's so refreshing the number of guys that I'm now speaking with weekly who are like, well, I'm really tired of dating. I'd really like something serious. It just hasn't happened for me yet. And like, I am interviewing a lot of wonderful guys. Frankly, even ones that like don't make the cut.
Right. Right. You can only choose 4 per show. I'm sure there are a lot of great guys who, yeah.
Yeah, it's getting a little overwhelming. And I am trying to get someone to actually handle casting for me now because it's
I'm sure you'll find someone amazing.
all my time. But yeah, so it's made me more positive.
You named what I've also experienced, which is, and I am talking to women mostly on this podcast and on Instagram. And I really, as a woman, I've had empathy and I still do, but it's like, oh, I have more empathy for men now than I did before because it's like,
Yeah.
wow, there's like, I think there should not be a competition of who has it worse. I really don't like that vibe.
Yeah.
Because it's like people have any gender has it worse for various reasons. It doesn't need to be a
Yeah.
competition, but we do need to be, I think having more empathy and compassion will make dating a lot easier and better for everyone. Yeah.
100%. 100%. And yeah, I think that's what it's done for me is it's made me, yeah, you said it in the positive way, but yeah, it's made me have a lot of empathy for guys and be really excited about the number of guys that are out there, even if I also haven't found my person yet.
I mean, I wasn't casting a show, but I did go out with over 60 guys and I found the same thing. I was like, wow, there are a lot of good guys out there. Maybe not the best fit for me, for my life, but super solid, just great guys.
It's interesting talking to their moms too.
Wait, when you call their moms, are they prepared? Like, do they know the show is happening?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm going to spoil it a little bit.
I know. I want to see the behind the scenes. Like,
it's funny to me how many people really believe that I am calling these moms for the first time on stage. And I'm like, they wouldn't even, first of all, the East Coast moms wouldn't be awake. They wouldn't answer my call. They don't have my number, right? So, but also a lot of the moms, a lot of them are I mean, there's some crazy moms I've spoken to, but a lot of them are so sweet and they like really want to do a good job, but they're really nervous and they're like, oh, I'm not a storyteller. And I tell them, I'm like, you can do no wrong. Like the phone rings and we hear a mom go, hello, and the audience dies, right? So it's like, you're good. But the thing I ask for in the moms is something specific, because early on, a lot of the moms, they were like, when he was 4, he did the cutest thing. And I'm like, nobody, that's any 4-year-old boy. I'm sorry, but like nobody gives a shit. Right? Like I'm looking for a story that really reveals something about this man on stage today. Some of the stories are incredible. There's one guy this coming weekend where I'm really hoping he doesn't get eliminated before the mom calls, because his mom call is so surprising. She has a beautiful story. And to be totally candid, your first impression of him might be that he's a little bit of a bro. And then her story is like, oh, he might be a really good person.
Oh,
yeah.
I hope he makes it too.
Me too. But yeah, so it's really interesting. And some of the moms are hilarious. I mean, I had a mom tell me a story about how her son found a Playboy and started charging his classmates to look at it. And,
It's hilarious. Entrepreneurial. We love the
spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's just the fun thing about the stories is that they run the gamut. I'm also realizing there's a lot of boys who tell their moms, like, oh, I'm doing this comedy show. You have to tell a funny story about me. And then, like, I get the moms on the phone and I'm like, it does not need to be funny. Like, that's my job, bitch. Okay. Right. Like, I don't call their moms bitches, just to be clear.
You do a great job. Like, everything you say, I'm just cackling. Like, I'm telling you, I'm so excited to see the show.
But what's fun is that we get different flavors. Like, sometimes the mom calls are really funny and sometimes they're really sweet. And that's really fun, too, because we've had the yes or no round. We've heard all this dirty shit. They've done drawings and haikus and done all this silly thing, like, and it gets salacious, and then we have this like sweet moment with the mom. So it feels really earned and really fun. Like this one mom told a story about, her battle with cancer and how her son was there for her. And like, I thought he was going to start crying on stage because the boys generally don't know what their mom's going to say.
Right.
And I posted that clip. I mean, of course, as always, I was like, do you feel comfortable with this going on the internet? And that went viral. And it's not funny at all, Right. But I love that the show has those moments because I am trying to make real matches.
Right. This isn't just, it's entertaining for sure, but you are really out there trying to make people look good, set them up for success, get everyone in a room together feeling positive and like in a safe space where they can connect with each other. I think it's incredible. And I hope everyone who can go see your show will just go see it. Like,
thank you.
I'm also just a huge comedy nerd and a huge comedy fan. I wanted to be a talent agent and I worked in the talent world at APA in New York City. Yeah. And I think comedy shows and dating just go hand in hand. Like they're the best places to go alone, with a friend, with a date.
Oh, actually, that's something that's been nice too, is the number of people who have said, you know what, I showed up alone and I was kind of nervous because I've never really gone to a show alone. And they said, but I immediately met like everyone around me.
Yes, I go to comedy shows alone all the time, even in a relationship, and I make friends.
Yeah.
So not all the time. I went once recently when my fiance was on a trip. I used to go all the time. But fine, I went once by myself. Yeah. So
yeah. But no, I just think dating is fascinating from a human relationships. From a just like I sort of joke that like in another life I'd be like an anthropologist. Like to me, what's so fun about running a dating show, I know this is going to sound totally insane and contradictory, but it's like it's actually not even the dating aspect. It's like, it isn't. Like, so my previous work, like I used to have a podcast where I would like look at different internet communities. Like I'm just fascinated by like humanity and what makes people tick. And dating lends itself to that. Like,
yes. Yeah. It's a lens into how we think,
like I like
react.
Stories and like we're calling their moms and we're getting like these windows into people's lives. And it's so fascinating.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I want to hear from you, what is something you want to see more of in dating culture? Because you see a lot. So what's one thing you want to see more of?
I want to see more of people being kind and not ghosting. Even though I have been guilty of it myself, we all have. I feel like there's the accidental ghost where you're like, oh man, I really should get back to this person. Like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And then it's like 4 days have gone by and you're like, I just ghosted. But like, there's a lot of people not being nice because we can hide behind screens. And I think that's not okay. So I would like to see more kindness, and I would like to see less time on the apps and more people just getting out there and meeting each other. Oh,
Yes.
I would really like to see more of the people in relationships setting people up. And that's an element of the show as well. Like the
Right.
red wristbands, I tell them they have a job, I make them take a pledge. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I'm excited. I'm gonna play matchmaker at your show. I'm
Yeah.
really excited.
What's cute is some couples, they'll like get into it like a sport and they'll approach me afterwards at the after party and they're like, I just introduced like 4 single people. And I'm like, good work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was thinking
That's
of maybe, but again, like team of one, but I was thinking it could be fun to like start giving out prizes and be like, if you can prove to me that you introduced 5 singles tonight, here's a bag of mushrooms. Like,
perfect.
yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for telling us all about this wonderful, amazing show. Everything you're doing is so exciting. And I love all your insights, like everything you've learned. I feel so lucky that we get to share it with my audience. So thank you.
That's so kind of you because you are doing this all the time. Thanks for having me. It's really great to be here, and I'm always trying to spread the word about it, and so
Yeah,
I
where
really
can
appreciate
people
having me on.
find more information about you and the show?
Well, I am Alli_Goldie across social media. So that's ALLI_GOLDI. And that's probably the best place to find more in the sense that I'm also launching a brand new show called Comedians vs. AI Stage Against the Machine. It has nothing to do with dating. So I'm launching new projects all the time. So social media, AllisonGoldberg.com. I try to keep updated with all my different projects. But I also did go ahead and get loveisn'tblind.com.
Love it. Amazing.
So you can also just go straight there for that show.
Great. Well, thank you so much. This is awesome. I hope you enjoyed that conversation. Alli is so funny live, and if you ever get a chance to see her do stand-up or go to Love Isn't Blind, you should. So I went to this show here in Berkeley, California at a synagogue of all places. And this is definitely not your normal synagogue because this show involves sex toys. And at one point, Alli literally got up on the bima, which is like a platform, and waved a sex toy, like a dildo, in front of where the Torah is kept. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you can see videos of this moment on her Instagram. It's pretty wild. Honestly, as a dating nerd, I love what this show and what Alli is doing because it's a great reminder that dating is supposed to be fun and can be a blast when we lower the stakes and laugh at ourselves a bit more. From a dating standpoint, I love an event like this, whether you participate or not, because it's just so easy to talk to people before and after. I made friends in my, near me before the show, and we didn't get to stick around after too much, but it was definitely a vibe, like a very friendly vibe. Comedy shows in general are a great place to meet people because, especially like this, where meeting people is built in. I'm excited to see the show again on May 18th at the Foundry. And if you're in the Bay Area, maybe you can come through. It's going to be so fun. Thank you so much for listening. I'd love it if you share this episode with someone who's navigating dating and might need a little confidence boost or some inspiration. If any of these episodes have helped you in your journey, you can help me and other daters by leaving a stunning review on Apple or giving Dating Intentionally 5 stars on Spotify. I'd really appreciate it. Once again, I'm Talia. This has been Dating Intentionally, and I'll catch you next time.